If you feel like you understand German, but only when it's slow, clear, and carefully spoken, you are not alone. This is one of the most common complaints I hear from German learners, especially around the A2 and B1 levels. And the problem usually isn't vocabulary, it's not grammar, it's just speed, more specifically, processing speed. Let me be clear right from the start. Slow German resources are not bad. In fact, I strongly recommend starting with them. Things like slow German podcasts, simplified news, or learner-friendly listening materials are excellent at the A1 and early A2 stages. They may help you connect sounds to words, recognize sentence structure, and build confidence. But if you stay with these resources for too long, they can quietly hold you back. Not because they're wrong, but because they stop training the skill you actually need. When learners tell me, I just can't understand full-speed German, the reason is almost always the same. They haven't practiced understanding German at full speed. That might sound obvious, but it's important. Listening comprehension isn't just about knowing German. It's about processing German fast enough in real time. That only improves if you train it. Now, when I say full-speed German, I don't mean slang-filled street talk or heavy dialects. I mean normal, unsimplified German spoken at a natural pace. The kind of German that you hear on TV, podcasts, or everyday conversations. That's the jump learners struggle with. So how do you make that transition without feeling completely lost? You don't jump straight into the deep end, you have to change one variable at a time. Step 1. Increase the speed, not the difficulty. Start with the materials you already understand. If you're watching simplified news or listening to slow German podcasts, don't change the content, change the speed. Instead of listening at 1x speed, try 1.25, then 1.5, and eventually even 2x. This doesn't make the German more complex, the grammar stays the same, the vocabulary stays the same, you're simply training your brain to process familiar German faster. This methodology works great for things like slow German podcasts, Tagesschau in einfacher Sprache, and Nachrichten leicht. Keep the language simple, but bring the speed up to something closer to natural German. Step 2. Use text as a temporary support. At this stage, it is completely fine to use audio and text together. If a resource lets you, listen at a higher speed while reading along, and use that. Nachrichten leicht has text article with the audio, and Tagesschau in einfacher Sprache has subtitles available so you can follow along there. Think of the text as training wheels, not a crutch that you plan to keep forever. Your goal is to slowly rely on it less and less until you can follow the audio all on its own. Step 3. Increase complexity, reduce speed. Once fast, simple German starts to feel manageable, it's time to raise the complexity. This is where many learners get stuck, because they try to do two hard things at once. Instead, switch to more complex German, but slow it down slightly. For example, normal news at 0.75 speed, or full speed with subtitles turned on. Here, the challenge isn't speed, it's structure, vocabulary, and density. News is a great training tool, but it has limits. News language is carefully scripted, clearly articulated, and structurally predictable. Real-life German isn't. That's why at some point you have to move into films and TV series. Not because they're more fun, but because they're closer to how German is actually spoken. Step 4. Move into fiction strategically. When you start watching German movies or shows, don't pick the hardest thing that you can find. Pick something where most characters speak standard German. The dialogue isn't constantly overlapping each other, and the pace isn't too chaotic. Something like Helgoland 513 is great for this. It's a pretty slow-paced series, and the characters almost all use standard German throughout. Watch it once for general understanding, then, if needed, watch it again. The second viewing is where a lot of listening improvement happens. As you get stronger, you can move toward faster dialogue, more emotional scenes, and regional accents and dialects. The films Who Am I from 2014 and 60 Minuten from 2024 are faster paced, but still use either standard German or easy to understand dialects. At that point, your listening comprehension isn't just good, it's flexible. For advanced learners, this process doesn't stop at B2. Even at C1 or C2, listening comprehension still needs maintenance. Dialect-heavy shows, fast-paced dialogue, and emotionally charged scenes are excellent training. Not because you need them to survive, but because they help keep your skills sharp. I've been watching Der Pass to test my own skills, as this is a series that uses Southern German and Austrian dialects throughout. If you can understand German when people speak fast, they interrupt each other, or they don't adjust their language for you, you're doing very well. If you want to understand naturally spoken German, you have to practice understanding naturally spoken German. Not all at once, not without support, but deliberately. Slow German gets you started. Full speed German gets you fluent. If you found this video helpful, I have another video where I talk about how to immerse yourself in German without moving to Germany. Click over here and I'll see you in that video. Bis dann! Tschüss!